Our story starts with our main character playing an MMORPG. He finds the game unenjoyable and unbalanced. The game is so difficult that in fact, people are unable to even beat the trial for the game. The guardians that guard the gates are practically invincible. This game wasn't made to be enjoyed by others, rather it was made to torture those who play it. People across the world finally decided they had enough of this game, which led to a huge decline in players. But of course, there are always going to be players who are always willing to give themselves a challenge. Our main character had successfully cleared the 50th floor, and he's the only person to do so. But he didn't stop there. He found the sense of accomplishment amazing, so he decided to conquer the dungeon, even more using different ways and methods. He repeated it over and over again until it became something like a hobby. He had devoted 11 years to this game, and I don't think he regretted it. He thinks about uploading his huge accomplishment to YouTube. Or should I say NewTube? A message appears before him. The devs are thanking him for playing their game. And there will be a reboot update in the next 12 hours. He wonders what are the devs thinking. This game shouldn't even be profitable for them. He exited the game, and he thinks about quitting his job as a YouTuber. He hops on stream to tell his fans about him quitting being a streamer and also a YouTuber. But he couldn't do it. He plans on posting an announcement tomorrow. He gets ready to upload his Tower of Trial clear video, but he suddenly saw something on the news. Apparently, the game our main character cleared has somehow came into existence. A notification suddenly appeared before him. This is the new update of the Tower of Trial. They all must clear the first floor within the time limit of 90 days. And if they fail to do so, humanity as we know it will perish. The mass majority of people has already accepted reality and what awaits them. As a veteran Tower of Trial player, he knows he can't be wasting time like this, so he decided to head out. He dashed out of the apartment ready to retrieve one of the early items a player can have. Even though there's a chance the world might end, he felt excitement for some reason. We get a brief glimpse of what's going on in Central City. The people are all panicking. They get the idea to go to another country. But unfortunately for them, the tower has appeared in other countries also. He finally arrived at his destination. He has stepped foot into an event zone. These are all people who have played the beginning of the Tower of Trials. They're all here to get the item that will spawn soon. The amount of people that can obtain this item is limited to at least 5 people. Suddenly someone from the crowd calls our main character's name. His name is Jin Hyuk, but we will be calling him Jin Hyuk. He had a weird smile on his face. He's surprised he actually came here. Lee Jong-soo is a TV partnered streamer with 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. And he's also the CEO of the company Jin Hyuk was a part of. He tried getting close to Jin Hyuk. He tries his best to pry out any little information he can from Jin Hyuk. He remembers what it was like for him when he was working with Jong-soo company. All his company did was tricking people into a slave contract. The more they stream, the more money they lose. The streamers couldn't even do a thing about it because of the powerful lawyers the company has. Jong-soo promises Jin Hyuk to rewrite his contract so that they can be on better terms. But the world has changed. Contracts like these no longer play a part in what's happening. Jin Hyuk uses his head to knock out a few of Jong-soo's teeth. We transition to where the item is going to be at. We see a huge tree. Its name is mangrove. The mangrove of Crete has appeared. The fruits you see on the tree are able to raise someone's stats, such as agility, health and magic. The players wasted no time and dashed towards the tree, and also on their way they fight for the fruit to improve their stats. Jin Hyuk waits it out. Some of the players were able to successfully pick one of the apples off the tree, improving his agility by 3. All these players that you see dashing towards the apples are players who haven't reached far into the game, Tower of Trial, making them think what they are doing is good. Little did they know what was about to happen to them. Jin Hyuk watches as vines started to appear from the ground. He's one of the players who has no life the game, meaning they've spent day and night playing this game. So, they know what's about to happen and not to act rashly. The tree started to attack the players with its vine. The phenomenon you see before you is the cause of them eating too many of the fruit off the tree, which led the tree into an offensive mode. They've just realized the tragedy that they've caused. Some of the players started to run away, remembering that they've died here countless times. Jong-soo is one of them that tried to run away. He tried walking away, but Jin Hyuk asks him if he's giving up already. He doesn't plan on meeting his demise here, but Jin Hyuk tells him to unlock the true prize. All the fruits needs to be eaten first. Jong-soo finally realizes why Jin Hyuk wasn't going after any of the fruits. He plans to use this as an opportunity to obtain the item for himself. He complies and asks Jin Hyuk what should they do. He tells him the details. All they need to do is charge in at the opposite site at the same time. This will distract the tree, giving Jin Hyuk the opportunity to retrieve the item. Before they charge in, Jin Hyuk lets him know that if any one of them hesitates, they're both dead. They both dash towards the tree. The tree sees this and started to attack, but Jin Hyuk dodges it. He turned his gaze towards Jong-soo to see what he is doing. But Jong-soo had no intention of working with Jin Hyuk, so he stayed behind, leaving Jin Hyuk to be his bait and die. But what he didn't know is that this was a part of Jin Hyuk's plan all along. As we see him dodge the incoming vine which led it to capture Jong-soo. He wasted no time and used this as an opportunity to retrieve the item, leaving Jong-soo behind. He begs for help, but Jin Hyuk lets him know that if he has a problem, he should take it to court with his lawyers. He pleaded with Jin Hyuk to save him because he doesn't want to die. The vines squished him to death. He felt no remorse for his longtime boss. Now what is left is to get the item from the tree. Jin Hyuk played this game so many times that he knows all the tree moves and what angle they will be coming from. He dodges the vines, making the tree attacks itself, opening up its core. This will give Jin Hyuk the chance to defeat it. Since this is an event boss, it won't give EXP, but it will give a spot in the Hall of Fame. The tree finally uses one of its skills to attack Jin Hyuk. He uses the thick vine to parry the attack. He is unable to dodge the attack, so the best he can do is parry until he gets an opening to attack. He's so close to reaching the core of the tree. Suddenly the tree activated another one of its skills to put Jin Hyuk to sleep. It's not really a skill but a passive mechanism that activated as another one of its defenses. It's a pretty easy move to get past as long as you don't breathe it, and you should be good. He finally made it to the core of the tree, and he wasted no time and gets right to destroying it. He smashes it with his fist, being the first human to defeat the mangrove tree of Creed. He felt amazing seeing that no-lifing the game actually pays off. And his achievement will be recorded in the Hall of Fame until tomorrow. The system asks Jin Hyuk for his name. Jin Hyuk refuses to use his actual name. The system saw this and recommends a hidden identity for Jin Hyuk. He doesn't pay any mind to the system. What's more important is obtaining the hidden item. He took out a small-looking marble from the tree trunk. It's called the tree essence, or you can call it the tree orb. The apples that appeared on the tree is able to give 3 stat points for strength, agility and magic, but the tree orb, on the other hand, is able to give 12 bonus stats. It's like leveling up 4 times. Since leveling up once gives 3 points. He uses the item by swallowing it. He checks his status to see its effects. Jin Hyuk is a level 1 player with 12 stat points, which means he's the strongest level 1 player. A video was uploaded on the internet of the mangrove tree getting cleared. The comment is neutral, with some players finding Jin Hyuk's accomplishment amazing, while some is angry that they've spent so many years trying to beat it and was unable to do so. Many of the players envy Jin Hyuk's accomplishment. He checks his main account to see tons of messages of players offering Jin Hyuk deal, such as 10 billion and 100 million won a month. He's amazed by this, but at the same time, he thinks his accomplishment isn't that much big of a deal. But he remembers that most players haven't even reached the mid-late stage of the game. He thinks about the offer and what it was like for him as a mukbang streamer. He had to starve himself just to even save the money for a mukbang stream. If he had got this offer back when he was streaming, he would have accepted it in a heartbeat. But now he doesn't plan on sharing his knowledge with anyone, even for 10 billion won. Because the most important thing right now is information and monopoly. Jin Hyuk checks his next destination to head to. The moment the game was played, the leaking mana from the Tower of Trial spread throughout Seoul. There wasn't a significant effect other than that the artifacts outside the tower became holy artifacts. But of course, they were fake. The real artifacts were within the tower. These fake artifacts were like display items for players to grab. The National Museum of Korea. The place where players can get the most replica of an item. This was a problem for Jin Hyuk, since he wasn't the only one aiming for these replicas. There is only one national museum in Korea where these items spawn. In other words, there will be a lot of people gathering for these items. And among them will be top players from Tower of Trial. He enters the museum, activating the event area. The museum is a little bit too quiet. He suddenly saw a burned corpse on the floor. As expected, he wasn't the only one here. Jin Hyuk is expecting players to be in the medieval classical era gallery, since that's where the artifact is located. One of the items that most of the players want is the Great Map of the East Land. The map is imbued with magic containing information about the tower. It also tells you where the maze and ruins are and explains which monsters and items are within them. Even though it gives information up to the 10th floor, it's more than enough to light the hearts of people ablaze. Everyone will be looking for this item, but the true item will be hidden away from reach. We transition to players fighting over the copied items. Someone yells at the crowd telling them not to move. He claims that if anyone moves, they will die by his hands. They're not frightened by his threats, only for the tables to be turned, and they started threatening him. He has no choice but to show them what he meant. His arms became rock. This is called a unique ability, and only a few in Korea have unlocked theirs. He demands them to leave the map because he will be taking it. Suddenly someone from the crowd denies giving him the map. If there's anything I've learned from watching anime, and it's not to mess with the old folks. His name is Min Young-woo. Apparently, it means living life with kindness and friendship. He gets tired of the old geezer spurring nonsense and threatens to wrangle his crusty-looking neck off like a chicken neck. He didn't take a liking to those words. He asks him which one he thinks is faster, him breaking his neck or for him to turn him into coal. Young-woo activates his fire magic and tossed it at him, setting him on fire, turning him to ashes. A girl appeared behind him. She is thankful she was able to join forces with him. Her name is Lee Yuri. She picks up the Egyptian god Anubis. She'll use this power to defeat anyone who gets in her way. She uses the Anubis clones to threaten every player in the museum to not move, or else she'll make him munch off their heads. They're tired of these tryhards appearing out of nowhere. They all decided to give up their weapons and items to Yuri, except for one person. Jin Hyuk. He finds it distasteful of what they did to the museum. He's happy that the map didn't get damaged. Yuri sends out her Anubis clones to attack Jin Hyuk. They charged at him. Jin Hyuk easily deflects the attack with his bare hands, making Yuri stunned, and hopefully she realizes the mistake she has made, attacking Jin Hyuk. All the other players are also shocked to see how he deflected the spear with his hands. Their reaction is very understandable since Jin Hyuk has 12 bonus stats for a level 1 player. Yuri pulls out more Anubis clones out of her bag. But he's not bothered by it. He doesn't even look intimidated in the slightest. She summons 5 clones to fight for her. But again, he's not bothered by it. He's more impressed with how she can manage 5 statues at the same time. Her mana pool has to be above average. She is similar to the old man with the fire magic. Jin Hyuk finds her skill to be between decent and nice. She despises his bold confidence. He decided to show her a bit of his power. Show her the gap that separated them apart. She won't even be able to comprehend it. This is what it's like being a level 1 fighting a final boss. He summons a tiger with the scroll. Its name is Ruler of the Mountains. Jin Hyuk has had enough and sends out the Ruler of the Mountains to attack the Anubis statues. It charged in toward them, ripping every one of them in its path. They tried to defend themselves, but the gap in strength is too large. It continues to demolish them. Yuri is shocked. She had never seen such a method for using scrolls like this before. Just its presence alone sends chills down Yuri. She describes the feeling as if her skin is about to tear off. She can't win. She fell to the floor shaken by such immense pressure and mana. She wonders who is this guy. Jin Hyuk tells her to hand it over. She tries to play clueless. He tells her to hand over the mask of Tutankhamun. She tells him it's useless in Korea, so what purpose will he be using it for? He threatens to let his tiger consume her if she doesn't give him. She finally gives him the mask, and with this, he has finally obtained the first item. Before he leaves, she asks him if he's planning on retrieving the great map of the East Lands. He tells her she has nothing to worry about. But he won't just leave like this. He sets his tiger to guard the area so that nobody can follow him. And he does just that. Preparations are done. It's time to get the strongest skill in the Tower of Trials.